Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's event. We are very excited to have you here with us. We would have loved to have done this in person, but the snow kept us away. So we're glad we're still able to host virtually. I think today is going to be a lot of fun. It's our 60 and 60. So 60 breakthrough hacks in 60 minutes is the name of today's presentation. Before we get started and I introduce our presenters, I am Megan Kim, Executive Director for Cozy. And I want to thank our sponsor today, Spectrum Reach. We have Jody Pons, who's the Field Marketing Manager for Spectrum Reach, to say a few words. So Jody, thanks so much for your support, and we'd love to have a few comments from you this morning.
Sure. Thank you for having me. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yeah, first, I really want to thank Pamela, Greater Cleveland Partnership, for all your hard work in putting this together. Having to switch gears in the last minute, I know is not fun and ideal. I've had to do it myself, and then, you know, COVID and Ohio's lovely weather. So thank you so much, and I appreciate it. Everything is working seamlessly, so thank you. I just want to start off by taking a minute to explain who Spectrum Reach is. I can predict that most of you probably think we are the cable, TV, internet, cell phone company, and you're part correct. But what Spectrum Reach is, we're actually the advertising arm of Spectrum, the cable company. So when you're watching cable TV and you see commercials on Lifetime and ESPN, that's what we do. We do those commercials. We are the most trusted media partner in America, and our local advertising experts are here to help you grow your business, small, large, medium, any size. We do small business to global brands alike, and we just want to help partner and have a simpler approach to advertising across all streams, digital, social, search, we do it all. So marketing is complicated, but we are not. We have advertising experts here, one-stop shop for everything. We have the best products, ideas to reach anyone, anywhere, on any screen. So if anybody is looking to advertise your business, no matter what size, feel free to reach out to me, and I can definitely put you in touch with the right account executive for your business and your location.
Thank you. Thank you, Jody. Again, we appreciate your support, and we love that you support and work with so many small businesses as well. So thank you again. So now let me introduce our speakers today. These are three actually of my Cozy board members. So I'm so grateful to them that they are going to be hosting today's session. They have a lot of really fun ideas that they're going to share with you, and Alex will kind of give us the lay of the land in a bit, but I hope that you are interactive. You can put things in the chat. At the end, we're going to leave some time for you to share some of your ideas as well. So first we have Alex Gertzberg, who's the managing partner of Gertzberg Licata and Cover My Six LLC. Cheryl Perez, CEO of Big HR and Cheryl C. Perez Enterprises, and Taylor Evans, founder and president of Rust Belt Recruiting and Workforce. So thank you all for being here. I'm looking forward to a fun time. Alex, I will hand it over to you to get us started and talk a little bit about what's going to be happening today.
Great. Thanks, Megan. All right. So, folks, here's what we did. We locked ourselves in a room, Taylor and Cheryl and I, and we got the reason that I roped in Cheryl and Taylor into this little game that we're going to play is because they're brilliant entrepreneurs and probably two of the most creative people that I know. And so we came over to Gertzberg Licata Global Headquarters in Independence, Ohio, and we locked the door. We got a bottle of wine. Taylor doesn't drink or didn't drink that day, which meant that Cheryl and I drank more.
And I got to take the leftovers.
You did. That's right. And that really got the creative juices going. And so we came up with our favorite hacks, 20 of them per person that really help add firepower to our businesses. You'll see that there are some high-tech ones, some low-tech ones, but these are our top 20 per person's favorites. My grammar is horrible there. And we are going to try to confine ourselves to 30 seconds per person, which is incredibly difficult for some of us. We're going to experiment with some sound effects here. They may or may not work. But that's the process. We, as Megan mentioned, we've tried to set aside time at the end, and we're going to ask you guys to contribute your productivity hacks. So you can put them into the chat if you want, but there's going to be a great opportunity to make this an interactive conversation. And if nobody talks at the end, you can ask us questions, or I don't know, we'll end early. We'll see how it goes. But I got a feeling we're going to go right up until the bell at the end. So
yeah, Alex, could I would just add for everyone too, because we've only got 30 seconds. If there's one that really appeals to you that you want us to dive a little bit deeper in, just plop it in the chat. And then when we get to the end, we can kind of go back and maybe elaborate a little bit more if you guys aren't sure with the 30 seconds, how we can utilize it.
Good. I like it. Let's do it. Okay. So those are the ground rules or lack thereof. Taylor, you're up first. Megan and Ann from Cozy GCP are going to run the PowerPoint and the bell system, our high-tech bell system. Megan, Taylor, over to you.
So the first productivity hack we're going to talk about is getting your brand and marketing out there. You could spend your whole day, there's entire marketing departments who are putting outbound content every day. Find a marketing automation tool. Our team uses a product called Loomly, which is able to, our team can spend less time posting stuff on different channels. It pushes out to our various channels on a scheduled sequence. So I think this is a really great way to make your brand seen at all times without having to actually sit there and post it on an ongoing basis. Marketing automation is key. Wow, the bell didn't even ring yet. We're going to go well.
Awesome. Well, my first one really has to do with the one thing that most of us as business owners, as leaders in our organizations, and as entrepreneurs don't have, which is time. We are constantly trying to multitask and constantly also trying to tell ourselves that we need to focus a little bit harder on one particular task. So one of my favorite hacks that I love to use is called the Pomodoro Technique. And with that technique, it actually forces you as an entrepreneur to set aside a 20 to 45-minute block of time to block everything else and really hone in on a particular task. These are really effective for me when I'm trying to work on my business and not just in it. So when I need to have that time to really do something strategic or visionary or work on my mission or work on a new product or, price a product or something like that, the Pomodoro Technique, you guys can Google it, it's amazing, is one of my favorite things to actually get stuff done. And I really feel like at the end of the day, when I do it, I'm able to really focus and get a lot of stuff done on my business and not just in it on a day-to-day basis.
So what that has in common with this hack is that it's perfect for people like me who have ADD, right? And which is most entrepreneurs I know, staying focused, but then also as the ideas are coming in, you got to park them somewhere. Evernote is one place that you can park ideas and make them really easy to tag, come back to later, organize. OneNote is another one. People use Google Notes, but the point is a cloud-based system to park ideas as they come up so that you can find them later. Evernote, I've been using for about 8 years. I've got 2,000 Evernotes in my Evernote, really well organized, and also good for prioritization. It's great because it's cloud-based, so you can have it on your phone, on your computer, anywhere else you need. I love it. It's probably the app that I use more than all other apps. Taylor. Oh, you're muted, Taylor.
Another great productivity hack is don't talk when your microphone's muted. Make sure you're, yeah. So anyway, look, a lot of entrepreneurs say, how do I start my business? Or, people who want to be entrepreneurs. My key here is just get started. Little micro tasks are going to create a lot of momentum. When you're starting a business, or if you desire to start a business or a new unit of your business or whatever, it might seem daunting. And the fact of the matter is it is, if you think of it at this level. If you think of it just in, I'm just going to do one thing today. I'm going to call the Secretary of State and file my LLC, or I'm going to call Alex to help me file my LLC. Or, little steps. I'm going to set up a domain name. I'm going to find a marketing tool like Loomly. Little tasks every day will compound and multiply faster than you can imagine. So don't think of it all out here. Bring it right into little micro tasks one by one. There's the saying, KISS, keep it simple, stupid, right? Like they just keep it simple. It will make your life so much easier, just one thing at a time.
Doing surprisingly well.
Awesome. So here is one of my favorite hacks. As an entrepreneur, we're always looking for ways to be able to capture our brand, but also save money. And you can go out to GoDaddy, you can go out to Wix. There's so many different providers out there that will actually allow you to buy your domain. But my favorite is iPage. And I do a whole video on my YouTube channel as to why. But to summarize it, one of the key differences between iPage and all the rest of them is that once you purchase a web hosting package and your domain through iPage, you will be able to build unlimited email addresses using your business's domain for free. That is where I'm talking about cost effectiveness as an entrepreneur. GoDaddy, even Google, if you use your domain and you get those emails, you're paying per user. When you get it with iPage, you can set up hundreds of emails for staff as you grow, finance, legal team, your own, your admin, help, support, and they're all free when you buy your domain through iPage.com. Then you're able to kind of bring it right into your Microsoft Outlook, no problem. You still have access to all of your emails, their domains, so you're not using that, what I call non-effective entrepreneurial at gmail.com type of thing when you're an entrepreneur. But iPage is one of my favorite hacks. It's where I always buy my domains because I can set up unlimited emails for free, getting my domain and potentially web hosting through iPage.com.
All right. So there's this browser add-on. They have this for Chrome. They have it for Bing. Pretty much however you go to the internet, whatever you use, they've got this. And it's called Momentum. And it's highly customizable. You start your day with this brand new, beautiful picture that they select for you, and some quote, something inspirational at the bottom. And then you put like your top 3 things to do, which is super important because entrepreneurs think that they have this much time to do this much. It's kind of, it's critical to limit the feasible amount of things that you can do to 3 per day to make yourself feel productive and good. And this helps you do that. And you can put other pieces of information there, like the temperature, and it's just fantastic. This is something I've been using for a couple of years, and because you check the internet first thing every day. This is a great way to put a smile on your face right off the bat.
Going a little bit to what Cheryl talked about earlier, as soon as you're ready and you know what your domain's going to be, buy it. I made the mistake of going my first 6 months in business without my domain. Unfortunately, that didn't bite me in the butt at all. But you're going to start to go to market with your company name, and you don't want to risk someone buying it or not being there or whatever. So get on the internet. Google Domains is the system that I prefer for it. Usually a pretty reasonable price. Some of them will make your eyes pop, but depending how unique or what you want your domain to be, and also be mindful of what your domain is, right? Like having a .biz might not make sense for a nonprofit. So be mindful of what you want your domain to be, because it represents your brand in even the most micro way.
And that's an awesome hack, Taylor. And that goes back. You can actually search that same thing on iPage, as I mentioned, but this kind of takes it to that next level, Namevine.com. That's what I want you guys to make a note of, because to tag along with what Taylor is saying, not only do you need to buy your domain early, but before you finalize that business name, and I always recommend to my coachees, do this search first, because nowadays with digital marketing, you've got to make sure that you've got all of the social media profiles on lock as well. Don't buy your domain and realize that the Facebook and the IG and the TikTok and the LinkedIn and all of those things and the Pinterest is already taken. So if you go to namevine.com and you type in what you're thinking your business name is going to be, it's going to tell you exactly whether or not the domain, the Facebook, the IG, the Pinterest, the Google, the YouTube. It's going to tell you if it's available. Your entire online presence, Namevine will reveal to you if it's available. And I would tell people, just like I tell my coachees, if you ain't got the Facebook and the IG and the TikTok and the LinkedIn, pick a new name, boo, pick a new name, because you need them all in order to market effectively. So this will tell you if the domain is available all the way through every single social media profile you can think of. Namevine.com. Check it out.
Man, a few years ago, I bought the domain fireyourlawyer.com, and I've just been waiting for the most brilliant use for that. I own it though, and it's going to get used. All right, EOS here. This is a game changer for every business of any size all the time. We started using, so the book is called Traction. Read it. If you're a business owner, you have to read this book. I read it, then I implemented EOS on my own, then I brought in a consultant. EOS stands for Entrepreneurial Operating System. It takes everything in a business, everything, all the things that you could possibly imagine happening in your business as you're trying to scale it and grow it, and breaks them down into 6 things. It's like issues, process, people, data, vision, traction. I think I said all 6 there. And it creates this meeting tempo and this pulse of activity that happens on a weekly basis. You reverse engineer long-term goals into short-term goals. This is so incredibly powerful. This is also the book that we gift the most to our clients, all of whom are businesses.
Yeah, and Alex, we're an EOS company as well, and I can't say enough about it. In 6 months, I have doubled the size of my company. We have more clarity than ever towards what our goals are, and we're working on them with a laser-focused mission. So it's incredible, and I highly recommend it to anyone. For me, you know, a little bit of a pivot. I think you guys can probably pick up that Cheryl, Alex, and I have a lot of thoughts go through our heads every day. We're kind of wild people. And for me, I cannot sit there and read or take information in while words are happening in music. I'm able to output with words because it works for me. But when I'm trying to take in information, I cannot do it. Piano music for me is such a useful background noise, or fills the room a little bit, and it stimulates intellectual curiosity. So a little bit of a pivot from what we've been saying so far, but big fan of piano music. Plenty of channels on it on Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, whatever you use. But really think it helps spur creativity when you're in the process of thinking and digesting.
Awesome. Yes, I actually prefer 90s R&B, Taylor, but I feel where you're going. I feel where you're going.
Yeah.
Little Mary J. Blige.
It's not a one size fits all, but it's clear from the chat that Robert and I are at least on the same page.
I'm just saying, like, you know, little Mary J. Blige and I, we can definitely get a real love going on.
You're getting some work going, like, okay.
Yes. So my next hack is actually, as I've already alluded to, you know, in 2022, social media, digital marketing is the most cost-effective way for a business to grow their presence. And wouldn't we all, as an entrepreneur, love to have an influx of inbound leads, right? Inbound leads is the name of the game. And the best way to do that is actually through content marketing via social media. But one of the hardest pieces about having a good digital presence is how to get consistency on all of the platforms, how to get your content out there, let alone how to create it consistently. And don't get me wrong, last year, my team and I produced over 1,000 different images, videos, and content pieces in order to be able to publish. And it had significant impact on my business. But how do I get it out there? Plannable is the tool for you. It will actually allow you in a content calendar to schedule all of your social media and post to all of the, what I call the big 5 social media platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, IG. It just added TikTok, and you can also post directly to Pinterest. You can pick one piece of content and go out there and schedule it for up to 90 days to 6 months in advance. So it's the definition 100% in digital marketing on set it and forget it. Like that infomercial with like the turkey fryer or whatever, that guy. We've all seen them at 2 o'clock in the morning. We're entrepreneurs, we're up. But all I'm saying is you can set it and forget it with Plannable. If you're trying to figure out how to create content and how to get it out there consistently, check out Plannable. It's an amazing tool, and you can actually delegate that to an administrative assistant, get it all in and all out, and Plannable will get you on social media to drive in those leads.
Asynchronous messaging platforms. That's what these are. Teams and Slack. We use them. It cleaned up our email inboxes. It's basically, look, I have yet to come across a business who has implemented one of these technologies into their business and didn't rave about it, right? You use email with your clients, you use Teams or Slack or WhatsApp potentially with your employees, although people can use them for different purposes, but it speeds up communication so much. Email boxes are flooded and things get lost, and this is a way to avoid that. Taylor.
There I go again, muted again. The next one is stock imagery versus photo shoots. Look, at the end of the day, we got a pretty stock photo here. And I'll admit, we use stock photos, along the way. Sometimes it fills a void, but at the end of the day, the small investment into getting some real photos, whether it's with your iPhone or a professional, don't use something that's low budget looking like I just snapped a quick picture. But at the end of the day, if you can get a quality image that is, consumers can see when something is stock versus not. And there are levels to stock photos. Some are just like blatant, and some you can get that are pretty nice looking. But again, that depends what you want to spend. But I highly recommend getting some original photography, get one of your clients to let you take some photos, do something in trade, find a photographer who's trying to build their business, promote their business while putting up the stock photos early on, whatever, or the original photos early on, whatever it's going to be. But that way you represent yourself online is going to make it seem like, oh, this is, I 9 times out of 10, I would want to work with a company where I feel like I'm getting something original out of them as opposed to some generic stock photo. So again, it's going to fill the void for you sometimes, but whenever possible, get some original photography up there.
I 100% agree, Taylor. I mean, and actually, guys, in March, I'm going to be doing an entire piece on my YouTube channel on how to conduct a successful photo shoot, because mine is scheduled for the end of the month. So it'll be kind of a vlog.
Subscribe.
Check it out. But I hate photo shoots, by the way, but they're a must, especially when it comes to content. So my next hack is actually a tool that connects all of your tools. Because when you've got different pieces of technology functioning in your business and they're not designed by the same company or they're not built by the same developers, one of the most difficult things you can experience is how do they talk to one another? How can you get one tool that's bringing in a marketing lead to actually talk to your email newsletter software to send them out a message? And Zapier is that tool. You will actually be able to, depending upon your subscription, set up what they call Zaps. And Zaps allows you to interface thousands of different pieces of software and connect them so that there's very little manual entry needed, because we do know when people get involved, things kind of get messed up a bit. So think of Zapier as your project manager between all of your systems. If you subscribe to it, and there's a free version, you can get a certain number of free Zaps, but if you actually subscribe to it and utilize it, you can connect all kinds of different systems and tools within your organization so that they work seamlessly. If you've never checked out Zapier, please make sure that you do. We have a lot of automation in my business, and it is impeccable and completely critical to have Zap in place in order for my systems and tools to talk to one another.
All right, Lucidchart, love it. And by the way, it says preferred Mac diagramming tool, but it is no longer just for Mac, it's for everyone. Think mind maps, think Gantt charts, think shapes. Anyone who likes to create good visual explanations for their speeches or whatever outlines, Lucidchart is probably one of the easiest ways to do that. I use it all the time. I love it. I'm going to try to speed it up because we're on slide 17, Taylor and Cheryl. So I think we got to catch up a little bit. We're going over.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Go, at the end of the day, the next one is work less. Think of, entrepreneurship as a lifestyle, not a job. At the end of the day, being able to work in your business in a manner that makes sense to you has to be what it is. When I started this business, I wanted my work to be a lifestyle, right? Usually your work is a calling. So don't let the work become all consuming of you, make it make sense for your lifestyle. And that doesn't mean I work more than 40 hours a week. I am not advocating for less, but some people that will make sense for them. Some people will make more or sense for more. Work it to what makes sense for you, but don't let it be work. Let it be like really something that's bringing the best out of you. If you feel like you're banging your head against the desk, the grind is not worth it.
Absolutely. And to piggyback off of that, the best way to create a work less, chill more environment is to create processes in your business. And I am a big proponent of process creation. It's actually what I do and what I help people with. And one of the easiest ways for me to create those processes is by using a tool called Loom. Loom allows you to record your screens or your phones in order to be able to deliver training to people, whether they're a client or whether they're an employee. So I actually use Loom all the time. If I get a client that asks me a question and I have to walk them through how to do something, I instantly turn on my Loom and I do my screen share recording. And that actually becomes a recording that I can provide to clients for time to time from years to come. And the same thing happens with my employees. If I have an employee that starts, I need to show them how to utilize Slack, for instance, or a system. I record the screen share, I plop it in our training catalog, and then my employee can always access that at any time. So creating those processes means I'm not answering the same questions over and over again. And Loom is my preferred screen sharing recording system that allows me to do that via video, which is the easiest way to help and to train the people that you're supposed to be taking care of.
So folks, think of Upwork as your multiplier, right? There's always more things to do than you have humans to do it with. Upwork solves that problem. We use it a lot. Cassie Pinkerton, our marketing director, has Upworkers in Pakistan and North Dakota and the Philippines. And these are people that work for whatever your budget is, $5 an hour, $20 an hour, whatever, to write content, to do research, spreadsheets, whatever. Upwork is just, it multiplies your workforce really easily. It's great.
All right, back to a little bit about the technology. One thing that has been really important for our company's ability to work in a hybrid environment is a soft phone. So I can pull up right now. I'm on Ring Central, and even though I have my personal cell phone number and this is my personal cell phone, I can make it look like I'm calling from my desk. I can text you from my work line. I can be reached on my work line wherever I am. So that soft phone is really important development, and also, gives you that presence of seeming like you have a business number, right? Kind of contrary to what I said a moment ago, it does let you keep church and state separate a little bit. So look into soft phones. They're a great hack here in the ever-changing environment that we're in.
Awesome. And to keep going with that theme, my favorite marketing automation tool that I use is Kartra. And I saw someone actually put some questions in there, and I do have a bunch of links that I'm kind of collecting over here. So I'll be able to sort of plop them in the chat once we're all done and having our conversation. But Kartra is my marketing tool of preference. It allows me to do opt-ins. It allows me to actually create workflows and sequences. And when a lead comes into my system and they go to grab a freebie that I'm giving them, it automatically allows me to track every single step that person has taken, not just throughout my business, but also on my website. So I can have a conversation with a lead. I can log into my system. It will naturally take them through what I'm going to talk about a little bit later, which is my marketing and sales funnels. It does all of my email newsletters, all my opt-ins, all of my automatic sales funnels and emails. It is the all-in-one marketing tool that also allows me to give people access to online trainings, to my digital products. And like I said, those things I'm recording with Loom, I plop them on a page, send my client a link, and they actually have individual access to being able to see those recordings. So it helps me service my clients. Kartra is amazing. Check it out at kartra.com, and I'll make sure to put that link in the chat as well.
All right, Haro stands for Help a Reporter Out. It's a really great and fun and easy way to become a subject matter expert and get quoted in Forbes and Inc. and whatever. Basically, when journalists need a quote, need an expert, need advice for their blogs and their columns and their articles, If they don't already have a source, they go to Haro and they post their question, and you respond, and it is a great. And then once you're in their publication, you can share that with your audience, your social media audience. It's a great way to get subject matter expertise.
All right, so from day one in business, do not make the mistake of mixing your bank account with your personal account. What you're gonna do is spend that money that you need, and then once again, you're gonna need to call our friend Alex to help you dig out of this hole. Separate them. It's that simple. There's nothing more to say. That's it. That's the whole, that's the whole, don't do it. First thing, you know how I told you about micro steps? First micro step is open a separate bank. Well, actually you need an EIN for it. But once you have that EIN and you're registered with the state, open that bank account. And then don't ever put a check in your personal account. That's it.
Can I get an amen for Taylor in the chat, please? Amen for Taylor in the chat is what I'm calling for. My next hack is actually the use of funnels. I've actually alluded to it, but I can tell you right now that incorporating sales and marketing funnels into my business over the last 3 years has changed the game. And quite frankly, as an entrepreneur, at one point I had 60 salespeople on my team in order to be able to market and grow my business. Guess how many I'm down to? One now. I'm down to Kartra, y'all, Kartra, because that's where I put everything. And Kartra is way cheaper than a salesperson. He does not talk back. He does not ask for, bonuses and incentives. I don't have to come up with all kind of creative ways to get him to go out there and prospect. And I use sales funnels, marketing and sales funnels throughout my business. They are amazing. Actually, I have an entire digital product that I never have to sell anyone to that currently makes me over $20,000 a month. And I never even talk to anyone. They go through a complete automated sales funnel. People come in through my marketing vehicle and they come out purchasing on a recurring basis, on a monthly basis, access to some of my digital products. It's amazing. When I'm sleeping at night and my phone is like cha-ching, because that's like my sound effect for it. Cha-ching, cha-ching. The other day, my mom was actually with me and it kept doing that. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. My phone's like cha-ching, cha-ching. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm making sales. She was like, is it legal sales? What are you selling? Is it legal? And I'm telling you guys, that's all because of funnels. So Google it, check it out. Maybe we can talk a little bit more about it, but it is one way of automated income that naturally comes in for me. And that's how I'm going to get to that chill more, work less that Taylor was talking about a little earlier.
And I'm going to give you an amen to that. I'm going to boomerang right back to you.
Yeah. Speaking of Boomerang, so Boomerang is a really cool email tool. So you know how sometimes you're up at 4 a.m. firing off emails? Well, you want those to land in your people's email boxes at like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. so that they don't think that you're an insomniac and insane. That's one of the features of Boomerang. It delays your emails, but the better feature is you right click on the email and when you ask somebody to do something or to get something for you, it comes back to you 2 days later and asks if you got your thing that you asked for, right? So it basically creates email reminders inside your email whenever you want them. You can set it for 2 days, 4 days, a week, a month, 2 hours, highly customizable. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Megan, it's true. Megan, it's true. We saw your comment. It's true. We are synonymous with insomniac.
Yeah, 12 hours from now when I'm still awake, you can reach me if you want to talk more about it, right? And sometimes I'm dropping bombs at like 11 p.m. Like my emails are coming out and I'm like, man, I do not want to give one of my leaders on my team a bad night of sleep. So I literally schedule it to go out like 7:30 the next morning. And they know I'm not emailing at that time because they know I'm a night owl, but they also know I wasn't going to drop that on them at night. So definitely schedule those emails. Hey, on another note, networking to help others, not you. It's so easy to go to a networking event and say, I'm going to find a prospect. I'm going to make money going to this event. I'm going to grow Rust Belt recruiting. I'm going to grow my business, right? Grow other people. Stop thinking about you. Go to those events and say, my number one goal is to play connector for someone I need here tonight. Trust me, the universe works. The cosmic forces that go into it, the big K word, karma, right? Those all come into play. Go to network with others for them, not for you. And trust me, it will come back tenfold to you.
Let me get another amen for Taylor in the comments below. Another amen, y'all. He is preaching this afternoon. My next hack is actually specifically designed for what I believe to be the best tool for coaches and consultants. So if you have a consultant-based business or a coaching business, Dubsado is an amazing tool. It allows me to manage my entire sales and service process for all of my clients and coachees. I have consulting as a part of my business as well as coaching, and it takes me all the way from setting the appointment automatically through putting them through the proposal development process, my entire sales process of delivering the proposal, following up with them, getting the contract signed, sending them their first invoice, continuing to invoice them, as well as delivering all of the pieces of my service model for those products and services that they're paying top dollar for. I manage completely in Dubsado. And on top of all of those workflows, it allows me to also utilize it as a CRM system. So I keep track of every single client note, every single client email, anytime my team is interacting with them, I can see that as well. It is an all-in-one system. There's another one that's kind of close to it called Honeybook. I love both of them. I just didn't have the bandwidth to move stuff from Dubsado to Honeybook. They're both really, really good. And it is an ideal tool if you are a consultant or a coach managing everything in your sales, marketing, service, and customer service processes in one tool.
So today's a snow day, so I've got an 8-year-old over here kicking me. So that's I'm trying to get her to stop, but that's why I'm turning around. So folks, I read a book called The 4-Hour Workweek about 15, 20 years ago, and it said, get a virtual assistant, get a virtual assistant. And it took me 7 years to get one, but when I did, it was a total game changer. Every entrepreneur needs a virtual assistant. You don't need to be, if you don't want to pay your own bills because you don't want to, I mean, it's your money, but you know, if spending time paying bills and making appointments for a haircut or getting bids for the plumber, it's just a time suck. That's all those little things add up. And if you can just take 4 or 5 hours off of your month and pay a virtual assistant to do all of those administrative tasks that add up in your life, do it, man. It is honestly, it's a no-brainer. You run a business, your time is really, really valuable. So to me, getting a virtual assistant is obvious.
When I think about LinkedIn, I know I have one of my clients on this call. Hi, Robert. You know, Robert can probably vouch. I'm on there just chatting all the time. If I have a thought, I'm going to go on there and talk. Right. And I want to start conversations. I want to engage. LinkedIn is a social network, not a promotion network. But let's be honest, by being more social, you're getting more promotion. People, if you're engaged on there and just start talking with people and you're visible, people tell me all the time, I open LinkedIn and all I see is Taylor Evans. And I say, that's the way it should be. But truth be told, don't spam the platform, but be on there, be active, be engaged, use this tool. Get your name in people's heads. It ties back to an inbound marketing strategy, right? At the end of the day, not everyone needs Rust Belt recruiting. I understand that, but I want everyone to know Rust Belt recruiting. I want when they are talking to their friend who works at a manufacturing company and says, I can't find people, they say, have you called Rust Belt recruiting? No, who are they? Well, all of a sudden, I just created a multiplier effect. So it's a long-term strategy for building you, your business, and your individual name in the market. And I just think it's a really important platform to be utilizing well. Also, write in 1 to 2 sentence paragraphs and hit enter and keep it going. Don't write one paragraph because LinkedIn's algorithm wants you to spread out and have longer content that people engage with longer, and then you'll pop up for longer. So that's the other hack with LinkedIn.
Awesome. So let's talk about customer service, right? So customer service is obviously critical to our businesses. If we can't retain our customers, then we're constantly going to be in that rat race of ultimately failing because the majority of your business is going to come from existing clients. And the best way to do that is to deliver amazing customer service. Freshdesk is an all-in-one customer service platform that allows me to utilize my VAs and my virtual customer service folks to actually create a ticketing system. So when someone emails our support email, it goes into Freshdesk. I've got specific 24-hour and 48-hour response times, escalation records in there. Freshdesk will also pull all of my messages that come from my social media platforms. So my DMs, my inboxes, which is the way people communicate with you now, especially when you get into digital marketing, it pulls all of them in, creates a ticket, and allows me to track what those customer service needs are, allows my team to function virtually from a customer service perspective, and allows me to keep track of when they're actually responding. If they don't respond in 24 hours, it gets escalated to me. Freshdesk is very, very cost effective, and it's an all-in-one customer service platform that I absolutely love. If you've got customer service needs and you need to manage it from a technology perspective, check out Freshdesk. It'll change the game for your business.
Yeah, so there's these people out there. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them. They're called computer hackers, and there's an incredible increase in that activity right now. And we meet with our outsourced IT people every few months, and they scare the crap out of us. But the one thing they say is get one of those systems where you store your passwords, and they come up with like 20-digit, crazy asterisk, highly complicated passwords for you, and you don't have to think about it. You store them. Keeper is one of the best ones that I've seen that's out there. It's on your phone, it's on your computer. It actually inputs the password for you, so you don't have to remember anything, but you got to keep it super complex, and having something like Keeper do that for you is the way to do that.
All right, my next two slides are going to be about clients. First one is don't be shy about giving your clients honest feedback. If your client can't take your honest feedback, good. Well, of course they'll take the good, but the in between and the bad, then they're not going to be a long-term valuable client. You got to be able to talk to them and say, hey, you're not meeting our expectations, just like they would tell you. Get that back and forth going. It's going to go a long way in building a more viable business for you and your team around you.
Awesome. You guys have heard me talk about this before already, but marketing strategy, you got to have one, right? The name of the game is to get clients, to keep clients, but to ultimately, as everyone here so far, Alex and Taylor have said, you've got to be out there and you've got to be engaging in order to be able to drive those inbound leads. And the number one marketing strategy that I recommend and that I coach on is content marketing. It is the best. Now, creating content is a process. It is definitely a strategic activity. So don't just be out there haphazardly creating marketing, content. But when you put out good, valuable content, you begin to make a name for yourself as an expert in whatever it is that you sell or do. And even if, like Taylor said, someone isn't ready to buy right away, when they are ready to buy, if you've been doing a good job with content, they will come looking for you. And that's really the name of the game. So if you haven't already begun to incorporate content into your marketing strategy, I would tell you, take a break, go on a CEO retreat, and 100% sit down and figure out how you're going to do it, because you've got to create a content marketing strategy to grow in 2022.
Someone said to me a while ago, Michael Jordan had a coach, and Tiger Woods has a coach, and Bill Gates has a coach, and Warren Buffett had a coach. What makes you think you don't need a coach? And I got one, and it was transformative for me. And I've had business coaches that I've worked with consistently for probably the last 10 years. And I got to tell you, every super successful entrepreneur I know has a business coach. And there's great ones out there. There's some lousy ones out there. I can help you find the good ones, but there's you just got to have one. Having a good coach is key, critical. Do it.
All right, so back to the client thing. If you have had to have those tough conversations, if you don't feel the synergy, at the end of the day, don't be afraid to fire a client. I know we feel like we got to have every possible company to work with. If they're not working for you, then it's not like it's a two-way street, right? And so at the end of the day, if it's a bad fit, you've tried to level set, you've tried to get on the same page, and it's just not right, guess what? It's okay. It happens. There's just not a fit. Don't be afraid to fire a client. It's scary as all get out, but sometimes that client's going to come back and say, all right, let's level set. Let's talk about your expectations, and let's treat this like a real mutual relationship. So it can turn into a better client relationship, but sometimes you got to draw a line.
And yeah, to piggyback off of that, I mean, he needs another amen, because when you have to fire a client, it actually helps you do what my next tip is, which is to really figure out who your ideal customer is, right? You've got to create an ideal customer avatar. A lot of people ask me when I'm coaching with them, you know, how do I market better? How do I market better? And I always say, it's just that you're marketing to too broad of an audience in order for it to be effective at all. You have to make sure that you know exactly who you're targeting, and you have to gear that marketing towards meeting the pain points of that individual, especially when you're creating content marketing. So figure out who your ideal customer is, create an ideal customer avatar worksheet, name that person, visualize that person, and that way everything that you build, price, do, and market around is around that person, and you will see the results of your business astronomically grow. Don't limit yourself to your thinking that I have to be able to reach everybody, because ultimately there's enough customers out there in a particular category that you can really grow a multi-million-dollar business just with focusing on one particular client.
Yeah, to piggyback on what Taylor said, by the way, I have never fired a client, regretted it. 100% of the time that I have, it expanded my freedom. It's just a breath of fresh air. Calendly avoids this problem. Hey, what's your availability next week? I'm not available next week, but I am on the Wednesday the following week. I'm not available that Wednesday. And so you go back and forth, right? You do that dance. Calendly is the easiest thing I've seen out there to use, even easier than doodle polls, which is good for groups. Calendly, here's my link, find a time on my calendar, boom. And then an email goes out to both of you. I love it, use it all the time.
Find your flow state, right? At the end of the day, find your flow. It's a whole psychological concept. At the end of the day, I quit my last job and started a business because I wanted to dabble in every piece of the business early on. I wanted to do some marketing, some ops, some sales, some recruiting, some everything, right? And then my business grew, and I'm not in that, but still my day can pull me into a bunch of different directions. And there's a concept called cognitive switching, where it creates exhaustion in you. If I'm thinking about accounting 1 minute, sales the next minute, an internal team issue the next, find your flow state, control your days, let yourself get into a state of flow. When we have a good sales call on our team, a lot of the people will want to jump in and do the administrative work behind it. I think we'll make that next call, keep the flow going. Keep going, make another call. You just had the momentum, use that on your next call. Stay in a state of flow and time block your day to where you can be most effective and maximize the work that you're doing.
Absolutely. And Pomodoro will definitely help with that. So one of my biggest hacks for everyone is really to make sure that your action-based website exists. Gone are the days where websites are brochures, right? We used to have those back in the day. You've got that piece of paper you're handing out that people are tossing. We're trying to save the world. So we took all those brochures and we put them on the internet. Well, that's also gone. Your website needs to be action-based. It needs to require people that are visiting to do something. Some of my favorite action calls to action on websites is to join an email list, or to download a freebie, or to ask a question, or to reach out. If you're in the process of looking at your website and trying to figure out what you need to do to tweak it and make it a little bit better, to calculate how many times you ask someone to take action on your website. And if it's less than 5 times, if you don't have at least a call to action on every single page, that's what you need to focus on tweaking first. Your home page, your services page, make sure that you're telling people to do something. It might be in your mind, oh, well, someone should automatically know, but no one can read your mind. So you have to make sure that you're telling them on your website exactly what action they should take in order for you to continue that relationship off of the internet, so that you can get personal and down to business.
The cost of bad hires is always so painful. We started using this thing called Culture Index. We've also used Colby. Some people like Predictive Index. It's a great investment. It's expensive and it hurts when you have to write that check, but man, the amount of time and energy and money you spend on getting the wrong person inside your tent is it's huge, and a lot of it can be avoided. People are really good at interviews. People are really good at making their resume sound great. You got to scratch below the surface using some psychology, and these kinds of tools do that. They're really valuable investments.
The next one is a book called Make Your Bed. It is a awesome concept. I'm about to drop into the chat here what the speech was, the impetus. Admiral McRaven gave this speech at the University of Texas in 2014. It's been turned into a book. It's an easy read, and it takes a bunch of different concepts around being a Navy SEAL and makes it a quick, easy read. And we give this to every new team member. So highly recommend picking it up. It's a core piece of Rust Belt recruiting and how we do business.
All right, guys, I alluded to this earlier. It is one of the top tools that I give people. It is actually for all CEOs, all entrepreneurs out there. One of the hardest things that we try to figure out how to do is to spend time working on our business. And we're always in it. We're always trying to grow it. But working on it is even more important than actually doing the day-to-day. And one of the ways that I've found over the years that I'm able to actually do that and create my business strategies and create my business plan from year to year is to actually take a CEO retreat. And after I had been doing them for about 10 years, I realized that Bill Gates also does them. He calls them think weeks. So I said to myself, girl, you must be doing something right, because a billionaire like Bill Gates, if he's doing it, you know you need to keep doing it. And so I'm telling you all to keep doing them. And if you haven't, do it. Take a week, block off your calendar, put that out of office on, get a hotel room, do nothing but focus on all of the things that have been in your head and on your list all year long that you know you need to do in order to improve the longevity and the growth of your business. Work on your business, not in it during that week. Mine started out as a weekend. They moved to 4 days. Now they're up to 8 days. I go somewhere secluded. I focus. I work around the clock. I do some massages. I do a little shopping, but ultimately it allows me to stay in the space where I'm focused on my business. I can put together a real strategic plan and I'm ready to go come the first of the year. So definitely invest. If you haven't done one this year, book your time, do a quick one. It's going to change your life.
Great. This is huge, guys. You've got to surround you're that, you hear that thing, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I believe that. And I particularly believe that in a peer group setting. I'm an EO. I met my law partner in EO, Tim Opsitnik. I know you're listening in. Tim, our board chair at Cozy, one of the guys that got me into EO. So incredibly valuable to get into a confidential, non-judgmental, open discussion kind of a place where people aren't telling you what you should do or what you're supposed to be or supposed to do, but are listening, are empathic. There's 20 groups. Strategic Coach has something like this. There's lots of good ones out there, but join one. Being an entrepreneur is stressful. You can diffuse a lot of that stress by talking to other entrepreneurs on a regular basis.
The 4 obsessions of an extraordinary executive is yet another leadership fable where it's going to take you through and show how to grow within a business as a leader, how to diffuse dramas within your business, and to really create a cohesive leadership team, right? As you grow your organization, you're going to need people around you. That is a key. So highly recommend. That's my second book recommendation of the conversation, 4 Sessions of an Extraordinary Executive. Pick it up. It's worth your time. Again, it's an easy read.
All right, so my next hack is actually a tool. It's one of my favorite tools I've been utilizing. And I see you guys all feverishly taking notes right now. And you probably got a legal pad or something that you're taking notes in. My question for you is, how many legal pads do you have? How many are you walking around with? I used to walk around with a 5-subject notebook for every single committee, meeting, and client that I had until I found the Remarkable. It is an electronic notebook PDF notes system. It can fit in the palm of your hand. It feels like paper when you write on it, and it holds 100,000 5-subject notebooks. You can also email things directly to your administrative assistant from it. You can access your OneDrive and your Dropbox from it. My administrative assistant might need me to sign something and I'm on the beach somewhere. She can plop it into my Remarkable from her desktop. I open it up, I sign it, plop it back in, and she can pull it right out. This tool has changed the game for me. I have every single committee in a file, every single meeting, every single note, every single idea, every single sticky note in one document, in one piece of equipment. And I walk around with it in my purse. It sits next to me on the bed. It's my legal file of legal files and notebooks. So if you are a note taker and you love the way paper feels, check out the Remarkable at remarkable.com. It'll change your life. And I'm not being sponsored for this. I'm gonna give y'all the link because I asked them, I said, I sell y'all stuff all the time. I'm not gonna give you no money for it. And they were like, we don't need you to sell it. That's how good we are. So I will put a link in the chat for you guys that'll get you $40 off. I won't get paid on it. It's okay, but it will at least give you a coupon for it because that's how valuable I think that this tool is.
There's that great quote from Viktor Frankl. It goes, in between stimulus and reaction lies all of our freedom, all of our human freedoms. I've been meditating for a really long time. My favorite entrepreneurs meditate on a regular basis, whether it's 1 minute a day or 20 minutes a day. The key is doing it every single day. And I feel like it's made me a better entrepreneur. And just the ones that well, anyway, I could talk about this all day. I won't. It's extremely useful. I recommend it to everybody.
Yeah, and Alex, just to piggyback off yours, another source of meditation, and I'm on the book train at this point, is the book, The Daily Stoic. It's 1 page a day. It's written by Ryan Holiday. Changes the game. If there's a book I want to put the other 2 books I just recommended aside, The Daily Stoic will center you in a way that will rock your socks. Want to say this one, right? This is really important. Don't start a business just to make money. Don't do it. Go find a job that'll pay you more. If it's about the money, find a job that will pay you more. Start a business because it brings something out of you that is undeniable and completely necessary for you to fulfill for your existence. And we are the unique group where it's like, I need Rust Belt. Like I'm going to share something that I haven't shared very publicly. I've been approached to be bought out 3 different times with my company. And I don't, probably the number one reason I don't want to even have that conversation, besides just being way too new of a business, is I love this too much. This means too much to me. I have built something that I am proud of and I am fully enmeshed in, and I can't imagine doing anything else but this. And I don't want to have to find that next thing. So I'm just going to keep rolling as it is. But don't just start a business to make yourself money. Start a business to make a difference in the lives of others, whatever your solution for them is, and believe in it to the nth degree. And trust me, our company motto internally that I say all the time, I got it from Dan Gilbert when I used to work for his family of companies, is essentially, let your actions lead, the money will follow. If you do right work, again, that karma word that we talked about earlier will lead the money to you. But if you're in it for a paper chase, people are going to flesh that out and they're not going to be as inclined to work for you. It's plain and simple.
Amen. Yeah, so my next hack is really for everyone here. Create SOPs, right? Create standard operating procedures for everything that you do. And there's various ways to do that. I actually am very psycho about it, so I automatically create them. But the only way to really, truly strategically grow is to make sure that you've got a process that's step-by-step in place that you can actually transfer to someone else. Oftentimes from an HR perspective, when I'm helping clients and they want to hire people and they want to bring people on, and they're like, okay, I don't understand why they're not doing it exactly the way that I would do it. And I'm like, well, did you write it down? And they're like, well, no. And I'm like, well, how are they supposed to know? Creating those SOPs, creating those standard email responses, creating those canned emails are going to change your life. They're going to save you time. And ultimately, they're going to enable you to be able to grow your team. You cannot hire someone to do a job that you used to do a certain way if you have not documented what that job looks like and you have not told them exactly what they wanted to be. There's a reason why they're not opening their own business and they're working for you. You're the entrepreneur, right? They need direction. They need to be told how to do it. And if you don't have documented SOPs, you're going to spend more time training them. And then your head, you're going to say, I might as well do it myself. I don't even know why I got to tell you. I don't even know why you got. Write it down, create a standard operating procedure, record some videos to go along with it, and give it to your staff and your team so that you can do what Taylor said a long time ago, chill more and work less.
Yeah, that was not supposed to be an asset management slide there, by the way, folks. Hey, real quick, there's we're a little bit over on time. We have 10 slides left. We're going to try to go super fast. Grammarly, look it up, use it. It corrects your spelling and your grammar, whether it's in your app like Outlook or online, like if you're doing a Google Doc or whatever. It's fantastic.
My favorite hack, if you're more of a talker and less of a typer like me, I couldn't take typing when I was in high school. I didn't have enough time. I had too many classes and I type really crappily. So what I will oftentimes do, because I'm a better speaker than I am a typer, is I dictate my Word documents. If you open up Word, good old Word, guys, there's a little microphone up in the corner. You click that microphone and you just start talking and it will literally type out what you're saying. All you have to do at that point is go back and proofread, put your commas in, your little semicolons and your period, and you are good to go. I talk text, I talk type, I talk email, and I just go back through. And sometimes I don't even have time to do that. So my VA goes back through and does it. But every video script, every presentation, I don't even need to type anymore. I dictate them all. Check it out. It's in Word. It's been in there. I see y'all looking. I see you looking at your screen right now. Like, where is it? It's in there. There's a microphone up in the top. Well, mine is set that way, but up in the top, you can find your microphone and dictate everything that you're thinking right to a Word document.
Folks, make a list of everything you do in your business. Make sure that every one of those things checks 3 boxes. You love it, you're great at it, it makes you money. Has to check all 3. If any of those boxes are not checked, find another human or an app to do that thing, or cross it off your list because it's wasting your time.
See, Alex needs an amen on that one, y'all. Asana, that's one of my favorite tools. And I actually have multiple project management tools that I've used throughout the growth of my businesses. When my business was smaller, Asana was perfect. When I didn't have those documented SOPs, I needed to really be able to track the details and the workflows that were happening in my processes. Asana is an amazing project management tool. You can do your content calendar in there. You can set tasks for your team, especially if they're virtual or working remotely, and you can keep track of what's getting done. And it also integrates with Slack, which is an amazing tool as well that Alex talked about before. But if you're smaller and you don't have documented SOPs, you don't need complicated processes included, Asana is the perfect tool. If you're beyond that phase, you've got your documented SOPs, there's going to be a slide that comes up later on that I'll mention, but it's called Monday.com. I suggest that you transition to a different project management system because it can allow for more complication, but Asana.com, there's a free version. Check it out. It's great project and task management.
Taylor, I don't know what this says about alcohol use, that we have more slides than you here. I'm sorry. We were drinking
you guys were flowing, right? And this
Yeah.
one, you're the fancy guy with this one. Tell them about this though.
So I love being able to take my screen off of my keyboard on my laptop and just turn it, read it like a book, read it like a newspaper, the way people, for most of our lives read stuff. Surface Pro makes one. The one I have right now is a Dell Latitude. They're like super lightweight, and it's a great way to switch from reading on a landscape mode to a vertical mode, and it's just I love it. It feels like a different way to read, like the way you used to.
I love mine too, Alex. I really do. You guys have just heard me say it, Asana, and then I transitioned to Monday. So this is it, Monday.com. Once you've gotten to a point in your business where your processes and your SOPs and your workflows are a little bit more complicated and they involve a lot more people, I would definitely recommend transitioning from Asana to Monday.com as your project management, task management, and SOP management system. It also tracks everything in there for me as well. Monday, I love it. And it has an amazing HR template. It's full of templates, but it has an amazing HR template for when you want to actually onboard and train your team. So if you've been trying to figure out a way when you're onboarding someone to get them through certain aspects of training, you can plop that orientation SOP or that standard operating procedure or process into Monday, sit your new employee down in front of the computer and tell them to go through it step by step. And they're going to get the crux of what your organization looks like, your welcome, your history, your vision, your mission, all of your forms, all that stuff. Monday is the bomb.
So you know how at the end of a meeting where there's a bunch of stuff on the whiteboard and somebody says, here, let me get a picture of that. And then they take a picture and then they send it like as a JPEG and it looks all crappy. This avoids that. You put, it's 4 orange discs, you put them in the corner, then you take a picture of it and then it digitizes everything and turns it into a PDF and makes the picture look a lot better and easier to share.
Ooh, that's a sexy one. I wrote that one down. That's a sexy one. Everybody's been talking about books, and I think that one of my favorite books, and you guys, if you haven't already told, you kind of know what I do. I'm a process chick. I help businesses create processes so that they can start and grow, and I'll help you figure it all out. And Michael Gerber's E-Myth book talks about the actual process of doing that and how your business is truly, regardless of your product or service, your business is the product or service. And if you processitize, I think that's a CP word. I think I made that up, y'all. But if you do that in your business, you can literally duplicate your business. It's the entire concept besides franchising behind some of the biggest and largest companies in the world. Take a look if you haven't already read Michael Gerber's E-Myth. It will change the game and change your mindset around the importance of actually creating processes in your business.
All right, last couple slides here, folks. This is the one book that changed it all for me. This is the book that made me want to become an entrepreneur, and I come back to it all the time. It's fantastic. I just can't say enough about it, so I won't even try. Check it out. We gave Cheryl the last 3 slides here because, as you can tell, she doesn't have enough energy, So Cheryl, take it away.
Awesome. What started it all for me, really, from a marketing perspective, guys, because I wasn't really into marketing, is start with why. If you guys haven't read Simon Sinek or don't even know who he is, you might want to start with his TED Talk. Just Google TED Talk Simon Sinek. It talks about the human brain and how people actually make their buying decisions. But for me, it also makes sure that I know that my business, just like Taylor and Alex have both already talked about, is based in the why. When you know your why, when you can successfully communicate your why, you will attract people to you who feel the same way, and everything else falls into place. So check out his TED Talk. And then ultimately, this is actually a workshop that I've done for clients to help their staff and to help their boards of directors, if you're a nonprofit, figure out the mission and the vision. And I love that book. The next one is Keywords Everywhere. Now, this is an amazing tool, especially if you are into creating content. I use it a lot for my YouTube channel, which I've got a ton of videos on, but also for SEOing. So if you create things for your website, if you want to build your digital marketing presence, Keywords Everywhere allows you to take a pain point that your audience may have communicated to you, whether it's your customer asks you a question. If you add that extension on your Google, on your Chrome, and you type that question in, Keywords Everywhere will pull up every single SEO keyword that is tied to that question that you can use to build your article, your blog post, your social media content post, your video, whatever it is. And then ultimately you will begin to rank on Google. I have a video that's ranked on Google right now. I get tons and tons of leads from it and tons of YouTube subscribers from it, and Keywords Everywhere enabled me to actually do that. It's like how to set up your business address, and Lord, oh Lord, if you Google that, I come up. It's pretty interesting. And my last hack for you guys that I think is absolutely critical is Popl. And a lot of you may not have heard of Popl before because it is brand new, but I do not carry around paper business cards anymore. I witnessed someone at an event, and what made me change my mind is I witnessed someone at an event that I handed a business card, you turn around and use it as a toothpick. And I thought to myself, what? My team and I were spending thousands of dollars a year on toothpicks, y'all, toothpicks. And I said, I'm not doing that anymore. So Popl is an electronic business card. When I meet someone, all I got to do is pull up a QR code or actually bump my phone to theirs, and it will send them all of my details, way more information that will even fit on that toothpick I mentioned to y'all. My social media, my bio, they can link to me, they can follow me instantly. Check out popl.com. I'm going to try to get all of these links in for you guys as we continue our conversation. But Popl is amazing. It will change the budget in your organization. I not only have them for me, but every single member of my staff no longer has paper toothpicks. We have electronic business cards.
And I'm going to throw one.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw one more in. You guys can all see we're 12 minutes over. Don't be afraid. As an entrepreneur, you're probably passionate and a touch long-winded. At least I know the 3 of us are. Don't be afraid to schedule. If you think it's going to be a 30-minute meeting, do 45. That is actually a hack I've created this year. Is I'm scheduling not an hour or not 30. I'm scheduling 45-minute meetings. I'm scheduling 15-minute meetings. I have a meeting in 3 minutes that starts at 1:15. Most people think it has to be on the top of the hour or on the half hour. Start using the 15s and the 45s to your advantage. Schedule at times that work to make a better rhythm. Don't be constrained by your calendar. And speaking of your calendar, always make sure to confirm your next day's appointments. Don't be having your schedule, and if you have a virtual assistant, have them do it. Don't be wasting your time going or attending or planning for meetings that aren't even going to happen because the person doesn't want to meet with you. I'm done.
Guys, Taylor and Cheryl, thank you guys so much for letting us rope you into this little game. That was awesome. Megan, I'll defer to you here. We're over time. How I can stay on. I don't know if well, Taylor, you might have a meeting at the 15 mark, but however you want to do it, Megan.
I can stay on too. And I just tried to go in and get all these links, guys. I think it's just going to be easier for me to have my VA take all of the links and put them in a PDF and get that over to Megan to send you guys all of those links. I think that's just going to be easier so that you can have them and you can check them out.
I would say thank you all. This was amazing. And there was so much chat happening. So if there's any questions, we'll open it for a minute. If there's any questions people did not get answered, I know we were trying to address things as they came through the chat, or any ideas anyone has to share, we'd be happy to hear them.
I'll pipe in and do one. I'm going to piggyback off of Cheryl's QR code and the virtual business card thing. If you have the LinkedIn app on your phone, this, I think, Taylor, you shared about LinkedIn being the critical thing. You each have your own QR code to start using now as you investigate Cheryl's Popple. But if you literally open your phone where your LinkedIn app is, you click on, hold on one second, I'll actually do it with you. So open the LinkedIn app, click on the little My Network button. Then on the right-hand side, it should come up with a blue, I call it the floating head, y'all. So click the blue floating head with the plus sign, then hit scan QR code, and then you have your code and you can scan someone else's. And then you can also save it to your photos and then favorite it for using it at networking events as you're starting to leverage Cheryl's idea of not selling toothpicks.
Annoying. Annoying. I was so offended.
I'm surprised you didn't throw your wine glass at him or her.
No, but then I realized they really do make great toothpicks. I mean, the thickness is perfect, you know, so I had to give him credit for that. But
may or may not have done that before.
I just want to thank the three of you too. What you gave was incredible. I've got a page and a half of notes. So thank you.
I do have a question, Krista. You did ask if you already bought your domain through GoDaddy, can you still use iPage? Yes, you can. You can transfer your domain over to iPage. With the free unlimited, you have to buy the web hosting package, but you don't have to host your website on it. You just have to get the package, which actually gives you a free domain. So yes, if you transfer over, once you do, you can set up all your unlimited emails. I mean, at one point I had 70 staff people and I had 70 free emails. First initial, last name at, you know, my business at .com, and I didn't have to pay for all those email addresses.
Anybody else? Lots of thank yous in the chat, and I agree. Thank you all for these amazing ideas. Again, thank you to Spectrum Reach for supporting the event. We love to have sponsors who really believe in working with a lot of our small businesses, so great partner for us. And Taylor, Cheryl, and Alex, you are the perfect three people to do this. You have the best energy. I'm grateful for that bottle of wine. Absolutely wonderful. So thank you everybody for joining us, and have a great rest of the day.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
You
Be
too.
careful.